Welcome to the Magic Lighthouse podcast. For those of us who are aware that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, the Magic Lighthouse is your mystical pit stop, your spiritual tune-up, your place to pause, reflect, and realign with the next phase of our journey. Join me, Violet Conce, on this adventure to harmonize and amplify the light within ourselves and each other as we raise the consciousness of the planet, one conversation at a time. Thank you for being here and sharing your light with us. Enjoy.
Okay.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to have a chance to get together and do this in person and have like a legit lighting and sound. But right now, this is what we got and it's great.
This is coronavirus. So
exactly.
Here we go.
Yay. All righty. Let me just collect myself
here.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Magic Lighthouse podcast. Today, I have my wonderful, beautiful, super powerful goddess friend, Abbie Weiss. And when you say her name, you just feel like, I feel like chills. Like as soon as I said your name, it was like, I'm so honored to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us.
You are so magical. Are you kidding me? This is like totally my honor. I'm so excited. So excited.
Yay.
Yes.
I'm so glad. So let's just jump into this. What are we here for? We're talking about goddess energy. We're talking about your business. We're talking about what you're creating. So first of all, who are you? What is your business? Give us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So, a little bit about myself. Well, I feel like I'm this like massively complicated individual. So like telling a little bit about myself is so challenging, but I think that, when people describe me, they describe me as like really joyful and energetic. And I am those things, but I'm also this like deep contemplative woman who like thinks about the world's mysteries as well. And I can come off as this, I don't know, like valley girl almost, right? But what's underneath it is someone who is like literally looking at esoteric mysteries, and what this world is about and what is the trail that I'm going to blaze and how can I make the greatest difference. So my business, I finally came up with a title. I've been in the corporate world my entire life. And, when I left the corporate world in 2019, had a business partner for a year. When coronavirus hit, we dissolved that aspect of the business. And then I went on my own and became this entrepreneur, which is a completely new space for me. And I started this business. I just came up with a name, I think like yesterday. I've been doing it all year, but like yesterday. And it's called Unleash Your Message. And what I do is I work with, business owners, entrepreneurs, people who are wanting to create a program. And I really take people's ideas and bring them to fruition. I think I have this like really cool, unique gift of being able to get like the mechanical sides of things working in businesses, and then also like inspiration. So what people want to talk about, what they want to create, what they're up to. And they have a message. And I just really, truly believe that everyone has a message. Everyone has brilliance. Everyone has an expertise. They've got their life experience, and then it can contribute to people. And so I've been working with people, supporting them, creating their content, designing it with them, developing it with them, and then helping them deliver that which they want to do. And so that's like a little bit about my business. And then, there's more, but is that it? That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And it's been, being an entrepreneur is like no joke. It is challenging. It's, there's been tears and laughter and times of empowerment, and I can take on the world, and times of like, maybe I should go get a job. bagging groceries because that would be easier, you know, like, and I'm not even above it. It's just,
I can so relate. I think you're not the only one.
yeah. But what I've really come to, and I'll just kind of jump in with this, let's see, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey, because if that's okay with you, I mean, you're in charge here, but
yeah, that's totally great.
What I spent 17 years leading transformational programs with an amazing organization. And one of the amazing things about doing that is you are given a purpose. And it is like, you're going to transform life, and you like eat it, you breathe it, you live it, you're obsessed with it. You know, you become a family with these people because you have a mission and a purpose. And when you leave that, which we can do another podcast about all that, but when you leave that, you're kind of left with, who am I and what is my life for? And so this last year really has been this real self-reflection, self-work that I've been doing to look at, well, what am I up to? And I did a women's retreat, and I love women's retreat. I've been doing women's studies and things since about 2010. And one of the leaders said this quote about how the Dalai Lama said, "The world will be saved by the Western woman." And it was like, it hit me, Violet, like a ton of bricks. I was like, that's it. And then I started to look at, well, what's my job in that? Who am I in that? And it was like there. It was like God's like, here you go. Like, you've been looking, you needed to get that as a context. Now what's my job? And what I got was that my job is to empower women in business, leadership, and life. And I have been obsessed with it. So not only do I have my business, and which, by the way, I'm not just working with women, like, because I'm a woman who wants to empower men. So and I think the more we as women can empower men in a way that works for them, we will heal the world. And so it's not that, but it's like, what I have this like grounding, this like footing now of, this is my job and this is what I'm up to. And so I have a retreat coming up in January that I'm leading with Leah, who you've interviewed, Leah Gibson. And so we're just like creating this world of like, what is a goddess? You know, what does that mean to be a queen? You know, we say it, we're like, yes, queen, you know, like we're all about that. But what are we saying? You know, and it's like, you know, you said it on your interview with Leah the other day, you're like, I'm not feeling very goddessy. And it's like, we've even taken these terms of goddess and queen and made them unattainable. Like, your hair's got to be perfect and you've got to be in love and light that day and sparkle your spirit. But some days we're not. And it's just like, how do we confront that? Why is it that way? And so I have been on like a knowledge quest and empowerment quest, and I have a mission, and so I guess that's a little bit about me to answer your question.
I love it. No, I love it. I love that you're so passionate about it, and that you basically, like, your life is about empowering people, and it's not just about one type of person or the other type of person. It's all people, all humanity. And the business, the corporation that you came from, that gave you, you know, years of training in transformation and coaching people,
100%.
has informed and supported you. Sorry, what was that?
I said 100%.
Yeah, it has informed and supported you and coached you, you know, had you build your skills to now do what you're doing in your current business. And now you get to do it with your own flavor and with your own, you get to set all the rules, you get to decide how everything goes, which can be, you know, a blessing or a curse. So yeah, how do you grapple with that? How do you grapple with like being a business owner and going from like this corporate world where you have all these people around you, now it's just you?
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
man, I think that's like part of the fear of people moving forward with what they're passionate about, what they're committed to. And I'm telling you, it's been a struggle for me. I love having people around. I love playing on a team. I was leading programs in front of hundreds of people all the time, and I think what's good about having left is it forced self-reflection, because I think we can get lost in that, and get lost in that world of, where there's external validation. And so we're looking for that. And one of the things that I've learned is no one needs to validate me. Like, it has to come from within. And that has been such a big lesson, Violet. Like, and I really feel like that's like the true queen. That's like the true goddess. Queen Victoria wasn't like looking for someone to validate her. She's like, this is the rule. This is the new law, because I said, like, and we aren't like that as women now. And, she was a diamond in the rough at that time. That wasn't like, the way that it was, where women's thoughts and views were respected and taken on. And like, we weren't even allowed to be in the theater as actors. So, I feel like there's two things. There's just like this personal, development of Abbie Weiss, taking 17 years of, training and development and transformation, and leading it and training others to lead transformational programs. And I think I got lost in all of it. I think that I was doing things so that it would make a difference for others, but not so it would make a difference for me. And, and I think as women, we do that. I read this statistic that said, not a statistic, it was more like a study was done. And the study was that women's it was a woman named Deborah Small, and it says that women's performance dramatically improves when they're negotiating on behalf of another person.
100,000%.
Not when they're negotiating on behalf of themselves, right? But when they're like, because you would be like, Abbie, you should raise your prices. Yeah, Abbie, you can do it. And then over there, you're like, I don't know, I don't want to raise my prices. Like it gets weird. And part of it, as I've been doing these studies, is like, they did this study of master's degree students at Carnegie Mellon, which is a very, very respected college, right? And 57% of the men who were in the master's programs negotiated a higher salary when they left. 7% of women did.
Wow.
7. So when we look at that, this is what I gather from it. And this is why I'm passionate about both my business and like the other aspect of my business, which is the retreat. We can talk about that too. Is that when women are working, when women get together, we uplift. It is natural for us. We elevate people and each other and babies and animals and like the world. It's just like works. And so that whole thing about our performance improves when we are negotiating on behalf of another, I think speaks to the power that women have when we take out competition and we work from collaboration. I just feel like anything is possible with that. And so I've just become really passionate about when women are right with themselves, when they're aligned, that feminine energy that we talk about a lot, which isn't really as credible as masculine energy is in the business world. But when we could harness that as a collective, as a humankind, it's like literally nothing would be impossible. I mean, we could like heal wars and we could heal lineage of hurts. And I'm like ridiculously passionate. Like I'm probably like annoyingly passionate about it, because I used to say, like, if one more man calls me bossy, I'm gonna lose my shit. because it happened to me all the time in the corporate world, all the time. I would get called aggressive and bossy, and I was like, no, I get it done. But when it comes from a woman and we're embodying, that masculine side of us, which we all have, it's also not as well respected. So we're like kind of screwed. We're like stuck between a rock and a hard place. We can't tap into our feminine energy and our intuition and our nurturing and our caring, because that's not going to get us paid. But then we step into like, well, I need you to do this. Please do that. Don't do that. Do that. Now we're aggressive and bossy.
Mm-hmm.
So how do, navigating myself through this has been a challenge on one hand, like I have a natural propensity to lead, a natural propensity to take charge and to want things to come to fruition. I want to see them done. And so people want to hire me. And then when I get in there and start getting it done, it's like now I'm bossy and aggressive.
Mm.
So, and I remember, I'll tell you this little story. I remember with my former business partner, who was a man, I would get into these groups, okay, with these CEOs and executive leadership teams from multi-billion-dollar companies, okay? And we would be talking, and I would ask him a question, like one of the CEOs or executive leaders. I would ask them a question, and they would turn to my male business partner and answer the question.
Wow.
And I was like, what's going on here? Because I came from an organization where I was kind of top dog.
Yeah.
Like, I was like pretty high up. So yeah. I was in a new industry. So I said something to my partner and I was like, okay, I just want you to check this out. Because he didn't believe me.
Really?
Yeah. So, and he wasn't a jerk about it. He just wasn't aware.
He just didn't notice it. He was like, yeah, this is normal.
Well, he just didn't even notice it didn't even occur for him that it was going on. So I said, watch, let's, we went to our next meeting. It happened. And I could tell he noticed it because he was like, Abbie. Like he would try to redirect it. And it was very challenging for him too. So, I think
I could so relate to that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's just like, and when you see it going, it's like, so the natural thing is like to try to like insert yourself so your voice is heard, but then you're just one of those like pushy, demanding, emotional women.
Yeah, I know I can relate because like there's been times where I've been out with my husband and we like I remember this time we went to a store and we couldn't find this one thing. We asked like 5 people, Hobby Lobby. We asked like 5 people. They were like, God, we don't have that. And then at the end, finally Gus found it. At the end, we talked to the manager. And then I remember we were both talking to him. And then every time I would say something, he would like, the manager would look to Gus to like respond to and I was just like, that's so weird. I wonder if he's just like, if he's being sexist or if he even notices it or if it like maybe he feels intimidated by me. I don't know. Like there's all these things in my head like,
well, you are ridiculously powerful. So
what's wrong with me?
Yeah. But see, that's where we go, right? It's like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get hard? Why can't I do this? And then we're just kind of like, we're left without a voice. We're left without a choice. Now, this is not for me like some bash on men. I love men.
Yeah.
I also think that we have emasculated men immensely over the last 40 years and, robbed them of their natural masculine power, which is a beautiful and wonderful thing. And the feminine energy craves that yin and yang. It craves that balance. So, like I think I've said, and I like to create with people that I don't believe in toxic masculinity. And why is because we talk about that like there's no such thing as toxic femininity.
Right.
But you got to have both. It's not just one-sided.
Yeah.
But what I really think is like there's true masculine energy, which is beautiful and powerful and directive and like gets it done.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this feminine energy, which is like about desire and nurturing and considering all the possibilities and, flows and creates. And there's toxic people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people who've been conditioned to, there's so much conditioning. I think that people can't tell the difference between the two.
Yeah, and it goes to what you said earlier about women being, for one example of that is being competitive. Some could say that that could lead to toxic behavior, and we're shifting from being competitive to being collaborative. I think earlier it kind of cut out a little bit, so going from competitive to collaborative.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's the mission here. I think the more we can take that out, but it's like the pendulum. The pendulum's like over here, where we didn't have voting rights until 1920, where we, there was not one woman was not elected to Congress until 1922. Okay. So we have this, like, the pendulum's over here where we have nothing and we have no say. So what's natural is the pendulum to completely swing the other way and to be like, down with men, and you caused this, and like that kind of world, right?
As if that's going to actually change anything.
Exactly, because change. No, it's like you got to bring no change to change, and that's a challenging concept. And if we can get that pendulum to swing back to here, but it is challenging when you experience a lot of injustice, and we see that with people of color dealing with how do we handle this situation, so
yeah.
This is another cool thing. I love facts. I'm obsessed, okay? Because I think things are, when you can get it's really interesting. So, and this is why I think women can be more aggressive and they, kind of hang on to that aggressiveness, because it's the only way. So in 1970, okay, women made 59 cents to every man's dollar. In 1970, which is 7 years before I was born. Okay. Mm-hmm. By 2010, there was a what was it called? The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or Equal Pay Act was born from there. And by 2010, for every man's dollar, in 2010, this is 10 years ago, women made 77 cents to every man's dollar. Now, what's interesting is in that same time frame between 1959 and 1977, the price of eggs multiplied by 10. But we can't get $1 for $1.
Interesting.
So we've had to fight a little bit more to make money. And I'm single. I don't have kids. I have a dog asleep over here in the background. But it's like I don't have that partner to kind of rest on to carry me. So I've had to be both in my life. And not like I'm saying being single is harder than being married, because I know that marriage has its challenges, and we could do a podcast with you about that, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think that when I look at the future and I look at what if I don't get married? What if I make that choice in my life? I'm now accountable for my own retirement. I'm accountable for my life until I die. And it's just like these things come up, and I think about, what as women, we must begin to have a voice, and not from the masculine perspective where we're killing off other women, where we're committing sororicide, as we could say, where it's we put down another woman's idea for our own.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to make a big difference for us. We have to come together and go, there is another way to look at things in the corporate world, in the business world. There could be a feminine approach to business, just like there's a masculine approach to business. And that's what I really work on with my clients, both male and female, is it's like, there are times where that masculine needs to kick in and you got to get stuff done, right?
Absolutely.
And there's the time of where the feminine, where it's like, let's get creative. Let's just brainstorm. Let's just think about all the possibilities. What feels right? What feels good? Like, who makes a business decision from like what their body tells them? Like, nobody. Women do, but and so, I try to work with my clients as we create their programs and workshops. What's the right decision for them? I often will ask them, well, what feels good to you? What do you want to do? Not what's logical, not what the mind says, but what excites you. Take that action.
Mm-hmm. I'm here for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so exciting. Well, what projects, you mentioned the retreat. Do you want to say something about the retreat and
well, I think
that's something that lights you up, right? It feels good.
Yes.
It feels so good when you asked me to be an affiliate to work with you guys. Like, I remember getting like full body chills, like, all right, yep, that's the sign that I should be doing this.
Yeah. And that's how right? It was such a natural, organic thing to like have you be a part of what was getting created too.
Yeah.
And just awesome too, I think, for our own like development of our relationship and our friendship has just been so organic and natural. It's just like, and I love that. And I used to still try to force things, and it's just been so easy. And I love that approach because that just wasn't my approach. I mean, you've known me for a long time.
It's funny how long I've known you, and our relationship, at least my relationship to you, has changed. Sure. Literally like 180.
Yeah. Well, you were mostly, when you first met me, were interacting with a woman who was massively overworked.
Oh yeah.
Tired, didn't honor her body, couldn't even feel below her neck. Was in a completely masculine environment, just having to produce results and produce results and produce results. And what you were mostly engaged with was like a very, very, very masculine version and depleted version of me.
Yeah.
And, so I wasn't always great.
Yeah.
I wasn't always the easiest to work with. And, I've had to deal with that. Let me tell you.
I mean, I think we had to talk about this, but I used to like literally like anytime I'd have to like go get something from you, I'd be like, crap, I don't want to go talk to her. I'm afraid of her. I literally was afraid of you.
Yeah.
Like I would walk away, like I'd be like, and it's and like you're such a like powerful, loving, like amazing person. So that connection, it gives me so much it gives me so much compassion and like understanding for people who are like in high powered roles, who are, or even people in our lives that are like they show us a side that maybe they don't want to show us, or they don't want to, they leave us with things they don't want to leave us because they're so depleted that that's all that they have left is to just be like, rah, like
survival.
It's survival, pure. Yeah.
And that's not natural for women to live in survival. That's really more of a masculine thing. And I can even literally tell you the science behind that. Would you like to know it?
Yes, please.
Very cool and interesting.
Please tell me the science. I want to know all of the science.
So, and then we'll talk about the retreat because I know that's where we're going. But this is such a feminine thing. Like, let's talk about this, but now we're going to talk about that.
I know. Gus hates it. I'm like, he's like, just stick to the point. I'm like, no, let me tell you these 16 side stories because they all build to the one crescendo, which is going to be like the climax of your life. So please listen to all of it. And he's just like, no, I can't follow along.
It's like so accurate, it's just, but when you get a great guy like Gus who just like can like love you through it, it just, your power just like gets elevated. And that's why we want to elevate men, because when they sit in their masculinity, they have all the room for the feminine. And their love for women just deepens because they just like love how crazy and wild we are. And they can set this container that we can like bounce off the sides. And, I just love that part of it. And, so the science behind that is this. So when you're in the womb, and you'll know this as a mother, right? Okay. About, what is it about? Like how many weeks you find out the gender is formed at, the sex of the baby is formed at, whatever.
I don't know,
like
5 weeks?
No. Weeks? It's later. I think it's 17 weeks.
Okay.
Right? I don't know.
I found out at like 13, but I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay. Well, somewhere in like the early stages, like the first couple of months, right?
First trimester. Yes.
So mostly, so this is like kind of a funky thing, is we're all girls when we start out.
Yeah.
We're just full of estrogen. So when the sex is decided by God, the angels, heavens, whatever, and it's a boy, a flood of testosterone like just floods the womb and floods the body of the baby. And testosterone is then fused into the skeletal system, into the muscles, into the eyes, into the skin. It's just like infused. It's testosterone, like your little baby John. He was just flooded with testosterone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So women don't have that. Now, women also do have testosterone in our bodies. We do have it. And testosterone is a hormone that impacts decision making and kind of has you take action, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have about 60% less testosterone in our body than men do. So if we're working like a corporate job and then we're like, got to go home and then we got to make dinner and take care of our kids, like lots of women do, there will be a certain point in the day, or you're working 85 hours a week like I did, there will be a certain point in the day where you will run out of testosterone. You have to refill. Your hormones needs time to refill. Okay. Yeah. When you run out of testosterone, your body has to go somewhere to keep that decision making going. Do you know where it goes?
Mm-mm.
It goes to your adrenal glands.
Makes sense.
So adrenaline starts to flood the body.
Mm-hmm. And then coffee, people drinking coffee.
Yeah, so we do all these things to get adrenaline going. Coffee is very taxing on the kidneys and the adrenal glands.
Yeah.
So we go to these things, and then women have adrenaline flooding our body, which is very, very unhealthy. Adrenaline flooding your body is like a grandma can pick up a car so it doesn't kill a baby. Like that is what adrenaline is for. It's for running the last 4 miles of a marathon. It is not for like your everyday decision making at work. Okay.
Yeah.
So when women deal with that, a couple things happen. One of the most important things that happens is autoimmune disease. Between 23.5 million women, between 23.5 and 50 million Americans have autoimmune disease, and 75% of those people are women.
Whoa. Well, there's a connection.
Right? So there's this like science behind what you interacted with a lot in my last kind of year or so in that job was just person running on adrenaline, going home at 11:30, getting up at 7, going to eat at the deli every day, not exercising, not engaging with her friends, so you interact with someone on adrenaline. I don't have time for that. I got to get this done.
Yeah.
That kind of space.
Right.
So that's the science behind that. And then the other thing that can happen, by the way, is when your body is flooded with adrenaline, you can't conceive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do conceive, what is likely is the baby will be like, ooh, this is not a good space for me, and you'll miscarry. So 1 out of 4 women are infertile.
Wow.
So there's a lot for me about women taking care of their bodies is so critical and important, and us healing our bodies. I gained 70 pounds in my last few years of working in the corporate world. 70 pounds in a very short period of time, I think. So, and I have to deal with, I've not been diagnosed with chronic fatigue, but I do know my adrenals are low. I've got to deal with my thyroid. All of that is a function of overworking.
Yeah.
So with this retreat, and this is the one of many, okay, this is the first of many. It is the first one. I'm no stranger to leading weekend programs or retreats. I'm no stranger to my passion for women and their leadership and their life and them making money and being in decision-making roles. And this is the first time I've fused those two things together. And my partnership with Leah is extraordinary. And what I'm really committed to in this retreat is that we give women the space to kind of step back from all the things that are happening in the world, which can be very stressful. My best girlfriend, she's an entrepreneur. She's owned a business for 10 years, very successful business. And she's the mom of a 3-year-old boy who she likes to call productive, which I think is an awesome way of saying has a ton of energy, right? She's like, he is the most productive kid. You know, and her husband, he works in the entertainment industry, so it's definitely impacted him. And so they've all been at home together. And, you know, she one day called me and she's like, I just like screamed at my kid, like, and she's like, I don't even know why. And I was like, what do you need? And she's like, I need a nanny. And that night we had a nanny for her, and she's got a nanny now. Oh. And it's like, when women do that, that is what's possible, is we take care of each other. So this retreat is designed to take like a step back from everything that's happening and literally retreat from the world and kind of step into a safe space where we can share, you know, about where we've harmed ourselves, and not from a place like we're wrong for doing it, because we're not. It's from a place of like,
or like we're victims about it.
Yes, so accurate. Like, this is about us retreating back so we can look at, okay, this is what's happened. This is what I've been telling myself, and to create ourselves newly. And you know, we've got a cord cutting ceremony, which I'm really excited about. I've actually never done one, so I'm very excited about this. Leah has done this, which is designed to cut the energy, like the cords of energies. You probably know what one is, but I'll explain to the women who are listening, or the men who do not know what this is. It's like you cut the energy of whatever's still clinging onto you that does not serve you.
Yep.
That sounds amazing. Like, that should be in like daycares. Like, this is important, you know?
Yeah.
That energy is lineage. I mean, that could be 200 years of energy not serving you. We're going to do embodied, divine feminine embodied movement session. We're going to do, you are leading a meditation for us during the retreat for these women. And if you have not listened to Violet's meditations, it should be like daily practice, even though she only does them like once a week, but just re-listen to it.
You're on my Instagram at the Magic Lighthouse.
Seriously, like, I love the post that you do I don't know if you do it every day, where it's like an affirmation, and then I like put the sliding scale. It's like my favorite one. I love that one. So this retreat is about bringing like women back to a wholeness. So we've got different activities kind of planned. Some stuff I'm not going to share because we want to keep it a secret but it'll be both confronting and liberating at the same time. And at the end, you are going to create a queen statement. A statement that expresses who you are as a queen.
Wow.
And yeah, it's like and it's yours, you know, you can share it if you want to, you don't, but you have something to return to. And, you know, for Leah and I, we really came to the conclusion that the everyday woman is the goddess of today. The everyday woman is the queen of today. And the more we can embrace that with each other, that is what is going to heal the world. And I am up for that challenge.
Amen to that. Oh my gosh, I just had a vision of like Leah on stage in front of a bunch of people, you also on stage, and also like I just see her, you know, how she gets emotional. She's very in touch with her feelings, which I love.
I love it.
And I just see her like crying at the end of like the weekend and just being like so present to the big difference that was made in the hundreds of women that were, you know, had a transformation that weekend, that are standing in their sovereignty, in their created sovereignty, that ripple out. You know, each person is a network of hundreds of people that we influence, that we share, that we share with, that we like pass the vibration on to. So every woman counts, and every person that we touch, it makes a really big difference. And it's really beautiful. It even had me a little moved right now. I'm really honored.
That's the future, you know, Violet. The moment we can do in-person things, we will be doing them. You know, and it's like, what's amazing about Leah is, you know, what started as a kind of student teacher relationship where I was her
Like,
teacher,
yep,
right?
yep.
Has just blossomed into this like deep friendship and sisterhood. And she teaches me so much. And, you know, that's part of my own transformation, is allowing people to teach me and contribute to me and receive, which is a feminine, you know, quality, we could say, receiving. But she has this very, I think what women will appreciate about being in this retreat is Leah has this very like beautiful, very soft voice, very kind of gentle way of being like, get your shit together, girl, like the way she says it, you know? Yeah. And, you know, she's a fierce stand for the people in your life. There's no question. She's a fierce stand for women. And like, she has this like, I mean, she has like slapped me across the face with her gentle words before, where it's like, I had to like put myself in check with it because of what she said. So you've got her very soft, like beautiful, fierce energy. And then you have my, you know, like I think of her as like a mermaid or like a gazelle, or, and then I'm like a lioness, you know, where I'm like to the point. So we bring these things out in each other, and it's really, I'm really excited to lead this with her. And, you know, the affiliates that have come together, it was just like natural. You know, we want to empower your business. We want to empower, you know, all the women that are coming together. Yeah. So, you know, if you're listening to this and in any of what Violet and I have created today is speaking to you, we definitely encourage you to come to the retreat in January. It's January 22 through 24. The tuition is $495. And I know Violet has a code through Cyber Monday where you can get the tuition for $125. And the code is VIP Queen. Just so you know, in case you didn't know.
Is it case sensitive?
It is case sensitive. I always put that in my emails. But maybe you'll attach that to it. So it's capital VIP, capital Q, and then Ween, UEEN. And Violet will have a link to this. So click on Violet's link and, you know, come and participate. We want to keep this as affordable as we can for people. And then if you're interested in like, I don't know, working with me, you want to build out a program, build out a business, and you want some like amazing, fierce, awesome, loving support, you can go to abbieweiss.com, and Violet will put that in the link as well. And, you know, reach out. Let's just talk and see if it'll work. You know, it doesn't have to. I may not be the right person, but I can direct you in the place that you can. So
honestly, and like you were sharing with me, so those people that know about human design, those who don't, quickly, it's kind of like the Myers-Briggs, like personality test meets astrology meets like energy type. So each person has a specific energy type. And Abbie's human design profile, all of it, she is literally built to be someone who can see your vision or your future and like help you navigate and point and like go in the right path. Yeah. Like there was this time where I was like, I don't know, Abbie, I think I should offer like conscious parenting coaching. I don't know, I'm thinking about it. She's like, no. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't feel it either. So thank you for confirming that. And then it was like, well, what about let's do Reiki, let's do this. And she's like, yeah, that's I think that's a good path for you. And like, even just in those like 30-second conversations, you're just like, do, like, you know, you can feel, I don't know how you do it. You feel it out. You just know, you're like, it's part of your human design.
It is part of my design. It's part of my energy. And I love that that's my gift. And I'm so helpful to give it away. You know, I just want people to win. I want their message out there. I want, you know, that for you. Yeah. And it's fun. It is kind of, I do feel like I have this like my own kind of like clairvoyance and psychic ability. Even though I'm not like clairvoyant or psychic, but with projects, like I am designed to like see like that works, that's not going to work. Let's do that. Let's not do that. And always from a place of like what feels right and what feels really good. So it is a different approach. And I always tell people like, I don't call myself a coach. The closest thing that maybe you could call me is like some kind of consultant or strategist maybe. Mm-hmm. But I'm all okay with like not defining myself, like being a trailblazer and, you know, just empowering people's visions to come true. And, you know, I've watched your leadership just completely like exponentially grow. It's been such a beautiful, beautiful thing to observe, Violet, is just seeing your voice come out of you, your passion, your leadership, your willingness to take a stand, your, willingness to create. And for Violet, for those guys who want to listen, she is built to literally be the voice of the collective. And so it's so perfect for you to have this podcast so that you can be that voice and like let people know what's going on with the collective. And you turned sideways. There you go. So
my phone died.
Oh, your phone died.
Back to my webcam on my camera, my computer.
So anyways, it's really cool. I'm so excited for our partnership and like what's to come. And as we kind of build out this entity, I feel like we're birthing something. It's very much a very feminine experience of birthing something that's going to make a difference for people. And with the retreat, it's directed at women. And for those men who are listening, most of my clients are actually men. So
yeah. Michael's a client of yours, right?
Yeah,
Michael, who was on Opus, who was my first episode, Opus Coaching.
Yes, Opus Coaching. Michael's great. We got his thing nailed down. Boom, started booking clients. And Leah too. Leah, she doesn't have a program that she was working on. She was working on her photography company, but we just got in there and saw, what is she offering? What is she creating with people? And she created it and started making money right away as well. So It's like, I want people to make money.
I love that. Me too. And I love how you're saying it's like birthing. Like there's so many times where I'm just like so impatient. Like I already want to make the millions. I already want to be successful. I already want to like impact and heal the world and all of this. But it's like, okay, how long did it take for my little baby John to like grow in my belly to then come out? Like it took 9 months, almost 10 months, probably about 10 months. And there's a whole process that goes, there's the psychological, like, holy shit, I'm pregnant. Like my life's over. And then like realizing that my life is just beginning, and then all the resources and like learning how to like guide myself from like my heart and rather than what people think I should guide. Like there's so much.
Yeah. And I think it's so important for women in business to really honor that, because we very much work inside of that whole birthing process. There's like, we're flirting with an idea. Oh, that sounds good. I'm going to do it. So you get married to the idea, right? And then you're like, yeah, okay, you're kind of like testing the water. So it's like dating kind of, right? So you're like, yeah, all right, so I'm going to do this. I'm in. This is really great. And in about 3 months, whether it's relationships, whether it's business, at 3 months, you're like, this is real, which is about when women are really clear that their pregnancy is going to stick. Is about 3 months in. Then it's all like the glow of it, right? And you're just like basking in your relationship and you're like posting all the pictures of you guys kissing and it's amazing. And oh my gosh, isn't it cute how they leave their socks on the floor and like you love it? And it's the same with business. You're like, oh my gosh, I love this. I'm just like diving in. It's amazing. And then, you're like creating and it's like awesome. And then as you like get towards the end, you start to worry. What's it going to be like? And will I be a good mom? How do I prepare for this? Oh my gosh, I'm going to push a 8-pound baby out of my vagina. Like,
9.14 pounds.
Yours was 14 pounds?
9.14.
Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. Whew, girl.
Almost 10 pounds.
I did it. Straight to heaven for that.
Thanks.
But like, yeah, and then it becomes real. And then there's the caring for it, right? So we do the same thing in relationships, do the same thing in business. Then it's like the caring for it. It's real. I have this business. Oh my gosh, I have to pay taxes. Oh my gosh, I've got to have my website updated. Oh my gosh, I need something that's going to like manage scheduling phone calls with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I like to bring to the table, what I think I bring to the table is that world of like the mechanical aspects of it and the inspiration and bringing those two things together in a very particular and unique way. But and I get it. Like, why aren't we making millions of dollars right now? Well, we are on the path, right? We are birthing something that is going to be, blazing a trail. And yours is your business is very much in its infancy. It's very much like we're still formulating it. It's still like getting all its body parts formed in the womb, just like baby John did, right? And so same with your business. It's like, okay, you've got the idea. You are going to do Reiki and it is going to be awesome. And you're going to have that be a contribution. You've got the Magic Lighthouse and the collective you're creating here of like-minded and conscious business owners. And, you know, it's you have all these ideas. So now we're starting to form it and formulate it and formalize it and like get it real. And then we're going to develop it some more. And then, you know, it's like, and it goes through that process, but it is a process and it is like a birth. Mm-hmm. And I think for women, the more we can kind of like allow ourselves to be in that process, just the more freedom and success we're going to have.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. It's going to be more of just allowing and less of hustling. Because I notice when I start to hustle, when I'm like, post, share, I'm just like burnt out. And I'm like, I'm over it. I'm done with this project. Next.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, as soon as I get that, like, okay, I'm starting to get a little burnt out, just like take a step back, relax, enjoy my family, enjoy nature, like just allow everything to flow.
You, by the way, speaking of human design, for those of you who are listening, go get your chart on jovianarchive.com. It's free.
Do it.
You can call me or Violet. We'll tell you all about what you are. But for you, so Violet, I don't know if you guys know this, those of you who are listening, is like a unicorn. Okay. It's like if you know Violet, you like actually know a unicorn. I almost want to say literally, except I hate how people overuse that word. So she's a reflector, and a reflector is 1% of the world's population. 1%. Okay. Like when I found out she was a reflector, I was like beside myself. I was like, oh my God, we have to do like, I got to see your chart. Like I've never seen one before. So for you as a reflector, you don't produce your own energy. So you're going to tire out faster. And so it's good for you to have people like me who are manifesting generators and generators around you in your tribe, so that you have a place to go get energy from. And then you can kind of sense out the collective, but you do have to, you know, rest. You know, I used to work I would work 14 hours a day, and now I work 5. And I've learned to take rest. I'm a big energy producer in my body. And so
you're a manifesting generator, right? Yeah. You're like the only type that can literally birth an idea and then fulfill on it and complete it.
Yeah.
Like with energy, like not having to force it.
Yeah. And so, and I'm learning my stuff too. And it's like where I overdo it or where I try to force an outcome. And, you know, everyone's like, you should do a webinar and you should do a workshop, because that's what everybody does in the industry.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to do that, you know? And so I'm so glad I haven't done that yet, because I'd rather focus on the retreat and focus on building a business that empowers people's messages to get out there. And it's like, you know, I just think it's so, I want to learn more about me, and I want to develop my faith, you know, more, and dive into my relationship with God, and, you know, discover who I am there, and discover who I am in the world as a business owner. I mean, the fact that I even say business owner about myself still kind of like freaks me out.
It looks natural. It feels natural.
Well, according to human design, I thrive as an entrepreneur. So I've been like, you know, for 42 years, I like screwed it up. I should have been an entrepreneur the whole time.
Well, it's never too late.
It is never too late. One of the things I will, you know, I'd love to recommend two things to people. So one is anyone who's listening, okay, you should read at least like 5 books. I love books. Like I just devour books. But this book has made such a difference for me in terms of money. And I'm all about people making money, which is The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. Have you read this?
I have not.
Have I talked to you about this?
What?
Have I talked to you about this?
No, I don't think so.
Gosh, I'm such a jerk. I should have talked about this a long time ago. This book will alter your relationship to money. People are so weird about money. Women are so weird about money.
Yep.
We won't negotiate for ourselves. You know, like it's like, what the heck, right? So this book, I used to go see Marianne Williamson when I lived in LA, talk every single week. And that this book altered my relationship to money, that I could ask for money. You know, when I read this book and renegotiated my salary, like what I charge now feels really good to me. It would support me in my living, and I know I'm going to provide a lot of value. This book will teach you about energy, the energy of money. And like, you know, it's energy. Money doesn't solve everything. We know that, but man, it certainly solves a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, it solves my ability to eat. It solves my ability to put gas in my car, right? It
Right.
solves my being able to buy a house or rent an apartment or a home. When I'm free from the concern of surviving, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So while money doesn't buy happiness, it certainly is a way to empower your happiness. And we get really weird about talking about money. And I think that I want to eliminate that for women, especially women. And for men out there, if this applies to you, you should call me, because we need to have a conversation. We need to get over it. It's an exchange of energy. It is a way of saying thank you. I value what you've given me or what you're going to give me. And receiving enough money is a way of saying, you know, you're welcome. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God, for giving me these gifts. You know, it's like, it is such a thing. So I want everyone to make a lot of money. That's my point. Read the book.
The book is called Divine, what was
The
it
Law
again?
of Divine Compensation.
The Law of Divine Compensation.
On Work, Money, and Miracles by Marianne Williamson. It's really, really good. Really, really good.
I love it. I'm going to add that to my reading list.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes.
I love it. Well, you mentioned there was a couple other books you wanted to share.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So my other book that I love is Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you don't, I mean, people know Sheryl Sandberg, but she worked with Facebook directly with Mark Zuckerberg.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really interesting. She talks a lot about women being empowered in terms of business. So I keep that. And then I also keep, Leah actually got me this book. I love it. It's called Badass Women of the Bible.
Dope.
Inspiration from biblical women who challenged and subverted patriarchy. How cool is that?
Amazing.
So these are like books. I like to keep books around me that I can like pick up, turn to any page, and just allow myself to get inspired. And you know, go to work on living a life that's amazing and that I love, and being able to empower others so that the world can really start to work. Because wouldn't that be great?
That would be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there any last bit of magical goodiness that you would like to leave the Magic Lighthouse community?
Well, I love the Magic Lighthouse community. I don't know. I don't think I have anything really. I don't know if anything I say is really necessarily special. I think
it is.
Well, thank you. I think that I just, you know, I want to serve the greater good and never have to. And I think this is a lesson that I would love to teach all women and all men, you know, that your serving of the greater good never has to be at the expense of self. And you can do both. You can live an extraordinary life. You can have a lot of money and still do good for people. You can, and you don't have to like drive yourself into the ground in order to make a difference. And that is an old way of thinking. And I think it's time to eliminate that and time to take care of self and elevate each other. And when women are right with themselves, aligned and in tune with the feminine energy and what it provides for them, we will save the world.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Those are my magical things.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your magic with us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Just to reiterate, the Goddess Ignited virtual retreat, you can go to the link in my bio. You can go on Eventbrite and search for it, and use VIP Queen for the cost to be $125 versus $495. So
November
really awesome.
30th. through November 30th.
Through November 30th. So if you listen to this afterwards.
Specials. Yeah, we will have some other specials going on. Tune in to Violet's page for
Magic Lighthouse.
Yep.
Come into the Magic Lighthouse for updates. And also you can add me on Instagram with my personal, which is with my name, Violet Combs. And go to abbieweiss.com if you want to get some badass coaching or strategy and consulting. Just basically if you want to be aligned with a powerful person that will help you just like blow the roof off of your business, off of your project, off of your whatever it is that you are here to bring to the world, please reach out to Abbie and just have a conversation with her. It'll be so worth it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
So much for this. I can't wait to share this with the world. I think I'm going to release this weekend. So
I'll take it.
Yay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Have a wonderful day. And I will love to see you again on the podcast. So
I'll be there. You can time and place.
Until next time.
For more guided meditations, soulful conversations, and conscious content launched weekly, please follow the Magic Lighthouse wherever you listen to podcasts. See you next week.